Alrighty, folks, we had to call in audible this morning. Normally, I do my daily financial news for my second setup, but unfortunately, the iPad is getting some kind of update and stuck in some kind of loop. So we pulled the audible. We are going to do the daily financial news from the computer instead of the iPad. So hopefully we make this work. The sound is good, all of that stuff. But let's get into it. September 5th. I want to talk about growing the middle class. That is the goal of this channel. One of the things that I hope I am known for in decades to come as someone like Dave Ramsey at a much, much smaller scale was involved in helping grow the middle class, strengthening the middle class. And the reason I want to talk about this today is we had the opportunity, the three amigos, to speak with Pace Morby yesterday. Conversation with Pace Morby went over 2 hours yesterday. I wanted to highlight my takeaways. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you all thought of that discussion. So first and foremost, Pace Morby reached out to us one rental at a time after I highlighted his change in focus. Pace Morby, if you don't know, has thousands of units. He has built up a sub-2 community to 20,000 folks and growing. He has traveled the country doing in-person meetups for years. And he put out Instagram Live talking about getting to 5 properties. And we talked about Brandon Turner yesterday getting to 2. I think this is a mission. This is a hill that I will die on, right? I will fight people on. I believe if you focus on getting to 4, you're going to have options. So the first thing I took away from that Pace Morby conversation, and Dion and Matt and I, was 99% of us, if not more, should first target getting to 4. As Dion and Matt both said in that discussion, once you get to 4, you have options. You have choices. You are a different person. And if you choose to go to 10 or 40 or whatever, great. But let's not get it twisted. Let's target getting to 4. I think that is a wonderful goal. It is a goal that all of you should believe in. All of you should have certainty that it is possible. Number 2, near the end of the discussion, Pace Morby gave an analogy that frankly made me get it. It made me get it to the fact that we are playing different games. Now, what do I mean by that? Pace Morby, Matt the Lumberjack, Dion Talk, myself, Millennial Mike, Anna Kelly, Casey, Brick by Brick, Brian Adamson, all the folks that you know and love at one rental at a time. We're playing different games. Now, there are folks out there like Grant Cardone, like Ken McElroy, like some of the big names that Pace knows and referenced. They're playing a golf game that never ends. Again, if you don't know golf, it generally speaking has 18 holes. At the end of 18 holes, there's a saying that says, let's go to the 19th hole. And 19th hole is, it's the clubhouse. It's where you go and you have a beer with your friends, or you reminisce about the story or whatever. Before I continue, let me just thank everyone. I got a lot of notes yesterday saying, Michael, you sound sick. Guess what? I am sick. I feel terrible. Just my head fog, coughing. I feel like crap. But the show must go on, as they say in theater. So I will undoubtedly take a nap later because I feel exhausted and terrible. But let's keep going. So this 19th hole idea, and I think it was Matt. It might have been Dion. I forget. It's just total brain fog. I think it was Dion. Yeah, I think it was Dion. Dion basically said, hey, I won the game. I'm not playing anymore. And that really got me thinking. You know, there are folks like Pace and Grant Cardone that will never stop playing golf. They'll just keep growing and growing and growing and taking on bigger goals. And that's why Pace Morby's got, 2,000 units, why Grant Cardone's a billionaire, is they're playing the game to play the game. And something that really hit me at the end of that conversation, I don't know if you caught it. It's really very much at the end. Hey, Josh, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. It's very nice of you to do that. I feel like terrible. Um, or was I going? Oh, yes. One of the things that I've often told you is, Olivia and I got to this certain level on the financial mountain, and we chose to sit down. And what I'm trying to do is, pull people up. I do reserve the right to, you know, go up the mountain further if I so choose, but I just don't see that coming. And what really hit me at the end of that conversation and with that golf analogy is I am playing a different game. I have, through 20 some odd years of focus and discipline, built a portfolio that now covers, frankly, more than we need. And I'm not playing that game. I'm trying to play a game. In my very first video, I am trying to play a game where my name is mentioned in a positive light 50 years after I'm dead and gone. That is a different game. I am trying to grow the middle class. I am trying to strengthen the middle class. I'm trying to create a community of like-minded individuals that are trying to be better. That is a worthy mission. It is a mission that if I was after the money, I could certainly charge more and build a funnel and get a team and all of that stuff. That's not the mission. The mission is to continually speak out, continually put out the message, continually highlight what works and what doesn't, continually to attract more and more folks that want to be on the same mission. And I want to shout out the school community as just one example. The school community is paid, and we talk about that at the end of the Pace Morby discussion. It's $20 a month. It's not $97. It's not $200. It's $20 a month. Why? Because $20 a month is enough to keep the haters and idiots away, and it's low enough that everybody could afford it. If I wanted to maximize my income, it would be $97 or $79 or something like that. But at $20 a month, it's low enough where everybody can join. It's low enough where people can join and commit time. I want to highlight Frank. Frank, old guy REI, yesterday did a 2.5 hour accountability group. This is the 10th accountability group. Frank's been doing this for 10 weeks and will continue to do them. Yesterday's 2.5 hour discussion, they talked about self-management versus property management. They talked about dealing with vacancies. They talked about snake removal. Folks, I don't know about you, but I have never had to think about snake removal. They talked about it. They talked about pest control. They had a debate and discussion about Anna Kelly's deep, dark recession versus Zuber's rolling recession. They talked about lone wolves versus being in a pack. And one of the things that I took from Pace discussion is you find your tribe attracts your oh man, brain is so oh man, I hate this feeling. Your vibe attracts your tribe. And the fact that we can attract folks like Frank and on Wednesday and Jared on Sunday, right? Jared runs a second accountability group. And folks, I didn't ask him to do this. They volunteered. I am not a part of these. This is how we are going to grow the middle class. We are going to get more and more people in the community moving in the right direction, getting educated, getting motivated, stumbling, falling, getting back up, and moving forward. So shout out Jared, Frank. Want to give Mark some love, financial firefighter who's always a go-giver in the group, and so many other folks. It's working. We are day by day changing and growing, and it's fun. It's never as fast as you want, but you know what, folks? If I've learned anything in my life, my superpower is the ability to keep showing up. Keep showing up even on days you feel like crap. You just show up. You give what you have. You move on. So I love that golf analogy, and Dion's right. We won. We have the right to play another 18 if we want. Dion's like, nope, I'm out. And now we have the rights to do other things. And that's a mission that I think is worthwhile. One of the funniest parts of the video is when Dion interacted with Pace for the first time. Pace went on a 15-minute kind of opening soliloquy, and Dion jumped in and basically said, Pace, don't get mad at me, but I don't want any of that ick on me. That is just pure Dion, pure who he is. And really what Dion was saying is what I've been feeling is I don't want all of that stuff. I don't want $500,000 in monthly payroll. I don't want 7 companies and just no, thank you. The mission we're on is different. It's not about me. It's about you. It's about the next you. That's the game we are playing. Matt had a great point, kind of the middle of that discussion, talking about the dollars to BS factor, right? Matt, as we highlighted in the video, is the closest thing in my community to Pace. What do I mean by that? I think Matt, the lumberjack landlord, is a natural entrepreneur. I think he leans that way. I think he's an excellent employee. I think he is, frankly, the smartest person. He might be the smartest person I know outside of Olivia. Olivia's got you, but I have to say that, I guess. He's certainly the smartest guy I speak to every week on the channel. So he has the ability to be a chameleon and go lots of directions. But what Matt said is the dollars to BS factor. And something I've seen in Matt over time is after he's retired in February, Valentine's Day, there was a chance where he was going to go get a property management company, and he's going to go bigger and all these things. And I think what he's looking at now is, I don't need to do that. I think he's evolving. I think he's growing. I think he's happier. And I thought that was really, really cool. The other conversations we had during that discussion that really hit for me is haters. Haters are just jealous. And, I take shots from the Crash Bros and their idiot broke tribe all the time. But yeah, as you get bigger and bigger, you take shots from other content creators. And I think Pace did an excellent job of highlighting it's just part of the game. Other things that I thought were really, really important was the fact that house hacking, both Dion and Matt made it very, very clear. And I agree that house hacking is the way for most people to get started. And frankly, I want to call out the fact that multiple house hacks, right? If you can do multiple house hacks, 1, 2, 3, as you're starting your journey, your chances of becoming wealthy explode, right? If you're lucky enough to be at that part of your journey. So again, give that video a watch. It is over 2 hours. You may have to watch it at different points. I'd love to hear from you what you thought of that video. What were your takeaways? Pace did talk a lot, which is okay. It was his first time interacting with Dion and Matt. He wanted to make sure, I'm sure that they knew him. And Pace has done so many good things and had so many stories. It was fun to listen to. So at the end of the day, we're playing a different game, and that really hit home for me yesterday. The golf game and the analogy of just keep climbing the hill or continuing on this journey to make more and more money. That's not the game. That's not the game I'm playing. I gave up that game to take on a more meaningful mission. And frankly, a harder mission. Making money is easy compared to growing the middle class. So that was an important discussion yesterday. Again, shout out Pace actually asked for that interview. I don't know if I think I said that at the opening. Pace reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to talk to Matt, Dion. I want to see what's what with these guys." So shout out to all of them. All right, man, I feel like crap. Citibank is out now saying we believe that a 50 basis point cut is coming in September. Yes, folks, in 2 short weeks. 2 short weeks, Citibank thinks we are going to get a 50 basis point cut. I think more and more folks are leaning that way. More on that in a minute, because we did get ADP report this morning. Like the JOLTS report, was horrible, bad, ugly. Really highlighting that the job market is deteriorating quickly. But I want to talk about a 50 basis point cut, because I think there's a few things that we need to talk about at the economy level. First, Would a 50 basis point cut in September send a signal that the Fed is panicking? It could, right? A 50 basis point cut could show that the Fed is panicking. The other thing I think we need to think about is, will interest rate cuts multiple, because again, the market's not only calling for potentially Citibank calling for 50, but everybody I've researched in the last 48 hours is talking about 100 basis points by the end of the year, which I actually agree with. I think it's going to be 50 in November and 50 in December, but that's neither here nor there. People are talking about 100 basis point cut in 2024. We have to ask ourselves a question. What happens to inflation? Now, there are two types of inflation. Only one of them do we really get economic numbers on. When we think about CPI or PPI or PCE, that's really cost of living, right? It's really food, shelter, gasoline, insurance, all the stuff that you and I buy. Now, we don't have the same supply chain issues. We don't have all of that, issues. So what will happen to just living expenses? Have we started a deflationary cycle? There's a lot of numbers inside inflation that are actually going negative, which is deflation versus disinflation. But I want to talk about the other kind of inflation, and that is assets. I have said repeatedly, I actually have a t-shirt that says inflation. I use inflation to get rich. Ask me how. Inflation's a feature, not a bug. And, if we're going to go into a cycle, a rate cutting cycle that potentially takes interest rates down 200 to 300 basis points, what might happen to assets, stocks? What might happen to bonds, real estate, companies? What might happen to assets? I think there is legitimate concern that asset prices leap higher. And I am particularly concerned that this continued asset inflation makes it harder and harder for me to grow the middle class, right? I'm here hoping that things are flat for 2 or 3 years so we can get wage growth and try to do this thing together. But yeah, it's something that I am now starting to think about. Irregardless if we have a September or November rate cut, once the rate cutting cycle starts, it's multiple cuts. I am starting to think about what happens to assets because there's just a lot of marginal demand. There's still a lot of liquidity out there. The bifurcated consumer is still very true. There is lots of cash being held by some, not by all. So these are legitimate concerns that I have and I'm thinking about. Let's talk about ADP's private payrolls. Again, this is the second of 3 job reports we get this week. The third is coming tomorrow, non-farm payroll. ADP, like the JOLTS report yesterday, the JOLTS report missed by 500,000 to the downside. ADP report missed to the downside. It was expected to be 140,000. It was actually 99. It's a horrible miss, right? That's I don't know, what is that? 40% miss, 35% miss, 38, something like that. Smallest gain since 2021. Manufacturing actually lost 8,000 jobs. Information services lost 4,000 jobs. Job market is clearly deteriorating. We heard yesterday from President Bostic that the Fed is no longer really worried about inflation. They're worried about the job market. This data print did not help. This data print actually goes to Citibank's thought that a 50 basis point cut could coming. Wages actually up 4.8%. Now that's a nominal number. If you subtract inflation from that, it's still up over 2%. We are having real wage growth. So again, something to think about. Weekly unemployment, still, we're not seeing it yet, folks. Weekly unemployment actually ticked down. It was 231,000 last week. It's now 227. So again, we aren't seeing that drumbeat of constantly higher weekly unemployment. Layoffs did soar in August. A report from Chandler something Christmas talked about layoffs hitting the highest level in August in 15 years. Just in the tech industry, there was 41,829 layoff announcements or jobs loss. Yeah, layoffs. Yeah, there you go. God, my brain is just not working. Ford sales were up. Ford automakers, Ford auto and hybrids up 13% in August. Verizon looking to drop some serious coin, buying Frontier Communications for $20 billion. $20 billion. Again, this is something you're going to see in recessions or recessionary-like environments. People look to do acquisitions for growth, things of that nature. So lots of stuff going on. And then finally, we'll close with an economist, George Lagrizia, something like that. Hopefully, that's not even close, but that's the best I can do this morning. He's warning that a supersized rate cut of 50 basis points could spook the market. According to George, he asks a very simple question, which I think is the same one I have, because we kind of opened this discussion, is where's the urgency for 50 basis points? Again, folks, we just had a weekly unemployment claims number come in at 227. We haven't seen that big uptick. Unemployment last reported at 4.3. It's actually being called to go down to 4.2 tomorrow. We still have job growth. It's still positive, not negative. Where is the urgency for 50? So again, lots of stuff to talk about today. I apologize for the little, I'm just not as crystal clear this morning, fighting a cold. We should congratulate someone. Stefan, congratulations for getting your next deal. Your card will go out in the mail. Everybody who got shout out yesterday's video, your cards will go out in the mail. I just didn't make it to the mailbox yesterday. They will all go out today with Stefan's. So take care of yourself. Have an amazing day. I will try to be better tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see what we see. Later, folks. Take care. Bye.